Hello, church. I hope that you are doing well. As a kid growing up, I used to hear this phrase from my parents a lot that out of sight is out of mind, or at least that's what I was thinking, especially when it came to things like cleaning. My goal was keep it out of sight, then it's out of mind until it began stinking anyway. However, I want you to know that just because you're out of my sight doesn't mean that you're out of my mind and out of my heart. I love you and I miss you. And I'm looking forward to the day where we will gather back together again, face to face, person to person, in community. And that leads me to what this video is about. This video, along with others that will be coming out, usually around the middle of the week, will be a way of me connecting with you, bringing maybe some hope, peace, some ideas, some reflections, and maybe some things to even act upon. You know, we live in a world that really puts a high value on time management, advanced planning, calendars, etc. I know from my own life, I like to get my sermons done a year in advance. I like to get things on the calendar a year in advance. I love advanced planning. I believe that it helps us move forward in a strategic way. However, in doing all of this, sometimes we lose the fact or we forget the fact of what Scripture actually teaches us. I'm not saying those things are bad. I'm saying we should do those things, but with this in mind. In James chapter 4, James gives us a reality check. And I would like to read for you now out of James 4 just a few verses and then make a few comments towards the end. James 4:13 and following says this: Come now, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. But as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. Now pay attention to this part. Therefore, to the one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, to him it is sin. Now again, we have become very aware of this truth. Everything going on right now with this virus in our communities, government, within our families has really brought to the fact that we have no idea what tomorrow is going to hold. Everything is changing daily, sometimes hourly, and it's so hard to keep up with it. It's blowing up our time management. It's blowing up our advanced schedules. It's throwing changes and curveballs into our lives. And it brings to the forefront really what James is trying to talk about here. James is telling us that we have no idea what our lives will be like tomorrow. Now, he uses that statement to really frame up that last verse in which he says for us that we know that today we should do something that is good and right, but yet we end up doing what we all do, which is we get busy, we get crazy, we get chaotic, and we end up procrastinating, putting things off tomorrow that we should do today. James is actually telling us not to do that. That's bad. We actually need to act today because this moment, this day is all that we're assured of. And so, in lieu of that, I have an idea that I would like to share with you, and then some practical outpouring, some practical purposes or practices that you can engage in doing this. You know, the ancient church fathers used to have this phrase, passing the peace, or passing the peace of Jesus or Christ. And they would usually do that along with a hug and a kiss. Now, all of you know me, I don't want to be hugged or kissed. And right now, we're practicing social distancing, and you shouldn't be hugging or kissing anyone that is not your family or your spouse. So how can we as a church be involved in practicing this idea of passing the peace of Christ along? So I have a few ideas that I would like to share with you, things that I would like to ask you to do this week, and I want you to email me the results or post them on our Facebook page or in your Instagram account. You can encourage your families to do this, your friends to do this, because I believe that engaging in these things will help pass the peace of Jesus. So, the first thing I would like for you to do is message, email, Facebook, Instagram message, whatever modem that you have that you want to use. And I want you to give 3 people a genuine compliment. A genuine compliment. Something about them that comes to mind that maybe in the past you wanted to compliment them on but have forgotten. Well, now's the time to do it. Today is the day to do it. The second thing I would like to ask you to do this week, and I know this sounds small, but in a day of isolation and fear and anxiety and stress, this is so, so important. As you're walking along the streets, as you're in grocery stores, if you're still going to work and you're passing people at work, here's what I want you to do. It's something simple. Smile and say hello. Just smile and say hello. Believe it or not, that will be encouraging for people who are dealing with isolation and loneliness in their lives. The last thing I want you to do is this. We're all running pretty stressful right now. We're all pretty high in anxiety and fear. And so, what I want you to do is, I want you to cut people a break this week. When they rub you the wrong way, when they bump into you at the grocery store, or they cut you off in traffic, whatever it is, I want you to cut them a break, because they're going through some of the same things that we're going through, maybe even worse. And instead of reacting in kind, what I would like for you to do is respond with a different action. I want you to pass the peace. I want you to be encouraging. I want you to be patient. And I want you to be hope filled. I don't want you to react in kind. Now, all of these things may seem like small measures, but I think these are actually big things for people who need them. And so I want to encourage you this week. Take these 3 things, put them into practice, and then let me know how they turn out. Let me know how it turns out for you and for those people. And in closing, I just want to say, my brothers and sisters, I pray that you will experience the peace of Jesus right now.